Right, good morning. Bedlam week, uh, really exciting week for everybody on both teams, and we got a great challenge in facing Oklahoma State. They lead the conference in Big 12 play and total offense and scoring offense, playing really well, very efficient. Have made lots of improvement, found their way. They got the back that leads the country in rushing. And Bowman's like 5 or 6 straight games that thrown them for over 200 yards. They're doing a great job on defense, playing really well here the last several games as well. Number 4, number 30 on defense, really disruptive players. Martin and Oliver, excellent players. Coach Gundy obviously has had got a lot of respect for Mike and what he's been able to accomplish, the program that he's built in a profession that's hard to have sustainability and longevity and consistency. He's represented all of those things, and is the second best winning percentage in our conference the last 20 years. So no surprise that several weeks ago people had written Oklahoma State off after losing to South Alabama, a really good South Alabama team. And they've just gotten better. They've responded. So that's what you want to be about when facing adversity, or you're building your team on the season. That's what you want it to look like. And they've really gutted out, toughed out several really good wins. Kansas State, Kansas, West Virginia, really got after Cincinnati. And they've done it by punishing people in the run game. Again, Ollie Gordon has just been fantastic. He's got power, he's got speed, he's patient, he's got great quickness, lateral quickness, and man, he's explosive. He can run right through you and can run right by you, averaging, I think, 8 yards a carry in conference play. So great challenge for our guys. I know our guys are really excited about this game this week. And again, as I said after our game, we're tied in first in conference play, and we've got zero margin for error. So all hands on deck, and we're hoping that we got a few guys banged up. We'll see if whether or not we get them, but I do feel really good about guys that will play if they don't. With that, I'll open it up.
We'll start with Ryan Aber.
Brent, I want to ask you about the offensive line. How hard is it to find consistency with all the shuffling that has happened up there? We've seen it at guard all year, and then saw it at tackle a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, I think we got some good quality players. You can't just play 5 guys, and so we're trying to continue to develop that position like every other position. And again, average 5 yards a carry. It's not terrible, not great, something in between. I thought we really had pretty good pass protection on most of the day, and so they've been fairly consistent.
Eric Bailey.
Brent, hindsight is always 20/20, but when you look back at the KU game, do you wish the offense may have taken more vertical shots to test the defense? And
I think the opportunity was there, and wishing is not going to do anything, but we do need to be maintaining an aggressive mentality. There's always that balance when you're trying to be efficient and protect the football, and but at the same time, the right time, take your shots for sure. We've got good players that can run past people and go up and make competitive plays.
Thanks, Brent.
Jenny.
Brent, you talked about Ollie for a second, but you guys faced another good back in Jonathan Brooks in the Texas game. I think he had 125 or something like that. How is Ollie different? What challenges does he present maybe differently than what you saw out of Brooks?
Well, Brooks is, very explosive as well. Can break tackles, and so there's some similarities obviously there. Ollie's he's just so powerful. He's got a nice spin move, and does a good job in pass protection. He mows down a lot of people in pass pro as well. But his patience for a big guy something that's a little different. It's not just power. He's got speed. And again, in the hole, he can make you miss. He makes a lot of people miss. He breaks a lot of tackles, but he makes a lot of people miss. Just excellent feet. And then he can get to, full speed, 0 to 60, really fast.
Barry?
Yeah, Brent, I would call the Sooners an offense that's sort of quarterback-centric. You put the ball in Dillon's hands a bunch. That's the way it's been in college football for quite a while, quarterback. But we've swung the other way. It seems like in the Big 12 with 4 or 5 schools, including OSU, back to the old school, tailback-centric. Tech's that way, TCU, maybe Texas. What's causing some of this momentum shift back to old-fashioned tailback football?
Well, I think, looking at efficiency, everybody, you get a good back, number one, and you want to ride them. And there's nothing like, a game control, like being able to run the football and bloody somebody's nose. And for the last several years, maybe that wasn't as sexy, but for whatever reason, I can't say what the shift is other than they got a good player at that position. Let's utilize them the right way. And again, game control, efficiency, I think all those are indicators of winning a lot of games. And I don't think that you still have to have the ability to throw the football to win at the highest level. So, but having the right balance and having good players there probably is what you're seeing.
George?
Yeah, Brent, just how's Danny doing? Do you anticipate him maybe being available this week? And if not, how confident are you in a guy like Kip Lewis who seemed to play
Really
well?
confident in Kip. As I've said before, he finds the football, plays really hard. He's a 2-time, defensive player of the year in the state of Texas from a great program. He knows how to play, knows how to compete. He's really tough. So when he's gotten his small window of opportunity, he's really delivered. I feel good about Danny. He feels pretty confident, but we'll see. It may not be something that we don't know till close to game time.
Same with Tawi. Do you feel good about him?
Yeah.
Ryan Chapman?
Brent, kind of building on that, not just how Kit played, but Kobe as well. Not their performances, but being able to set up the defense, do those little things with the line in front of them. How do you feel that they did that on Saturday?
Yeah, they did well. They did a good job.
Is that something that you can simulate, or do you just have to kind of be in the moment?
We
to
simulate it
those
every day in
plays?
practice. They take close to the same percentage of reps in practice, really close. And so you coach them hard through all of that. And so that's how we simulate it. And every single play at practice, every play. And they're under the gun, if you will. And but they, that goes with the position. And they've done well.
Left side, James Hill?
Brent, Oklahoma State, the way they run Gordon is interesting. It's real old fashioned, as Barry mentioned. Talk about your matchup against them, trying to stop that. But that's not all their offense. Bowman, to really sling it when he gets a chance. So how do you match up against the Oklahoma State offense?
Well, again, you gotta play well. First of all, up front. If you're getting whooped up front, we got whooped way too much last week. It's going to be a problem. So you got to play well there, and then you got to have all your gaps covered. That's a prerequisite to try to get in, Ollie's way, and then we got to play good in the secondary. I mean, it's the teams are doing the RPO, which they do, and then again they've got good players, outside. They had a really good game attacking the perimeter last week, and really like Presley. He's really explosive. Had a play against West Virginia. Game might have been tied up 27-all, and they got a little RPO. He comes in the backfield and runs a little swing screen outside, and the quarterback counting numbers, and he throws it out there, makes a couple guys miss, and house calls it for 30 yards for a touchdown, and really broke the back, and that's really kind of the play of the game. But that's just reminiscent of what Presley can do, and again, tremendous speed, explosiveness. They're doing a good job with their tight ends as well. They've had some receivers coming in and out because of some injuries and whatnot, but I thought they've for all the guys they lost, they've done a really nice job at replacing them and putting those guys in position to make some good one-on-one plays. And they're getting a lot of one-on-one coverage because of, the necessity to try to stop, Gordon. And everybody's had the whole team down there and hadn't had a whole lot of luck. And again, hence, leading the country in rushing. So they've played against, people that are putting all the bodies there, to stop them. So great challenge. I don't necessarily, quote unquote, have the answers. You got to play well. That's kind of the basic premise, and then you got to play physical, play with really good technique. Tackling is going to be at a premium. We put on a clinic on how not to tackle, particularly in the first half last week. I say that's a reflection of me. My name's all over that. That's not on the players. They do have a responsibility, but it starts with me, and really disappointed in how we tackled last week. And if we don't tackle better than we did last week, Gordon's going to pull away from the pack when it comes to college football and rushing.
Eli.
Brent, you outlined in August how you plan to be involved differently or more with the defense this year. In terms of week to week, offensive game planning with your defensive expertise, how involved are you in that in terms of game management or attacking and pushing defense?
Yeah, we always are on the same page on how we want to manage the game, talk through scenarios and things of that nature. And, sometimes you got to make a hard left-hand turn midstream. A lot of times it's how well you're playing on either side of the ball that dictates some of that within the game. If all of a sudden we can't stop somebody, the offense doesn't need to be going at warp speed and so forth. That's just simple, basic, common sense when it comes to football to try to help each other out and complement each other. But just like you would expect, hey man, there's certain people you want to try to get the ball in their hands, and when you have those kind of players, and then again, the matchups and week to week playing different types of opponents and what their strengths and weaknesses are, that all plays a part into all of it, the big picture.
Yeah, Brian, we've known for the last couple of years that this week was coming, but now that it's here, does it just feel weird this is the last one?
Not really. It's because it's the next game. It's Oklahoma State. It doesn't feel weird because you're not into the future. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it doesn't feel weird. It just feels like it's Oklahoma State. It's a big game, and we need to find a way to win. And so you're more concerned about things that took place last week that you got to get better, who's going to be available, and what kind of schemes you need to have have a chance to win the game in all three phases. So we got too many other concerns and to really think about the future, to be very honest with you.
Jesse.
Hey Brent, I want to ask you about Gentry Williams. I know you mentioned last night he practiced yesterday, but maybe how is he progressing and how do you feel about the way the depth behind that quarterback is going?
And we're solid there, and again, as I said in fall camp, that's a young group. Doesn't have a lot of experience. Gentry's been in and out of the lineup, so that's not ideal. The more you play, the better you should get, But when he's been in there, he's done a great job, and all of his best football still in front of him.
Gary.
Brent, you mentioned discipline since week one. Most head coaches do right over the course of the season. That's always got to be there. But I'm wondering, as it was such a central theme coming out of Kansas, you referenced it in post-game with whether it was penalties or just tackles, things like that. How much more critical, now that you're into November, the make or break time of year, how much more critical does it become to you, and how much more concerned are you that you're still having to bring that up?
Yeah, again, well, I think first of all, it's not everybody, and it's not the whole game, and but we did get nosy in the first half, and with our defensive line in particular, and but we were much better in the second half, so we improved the discipline there, and again. Kendall Dolby, I don't think his 15-yarder is a lack of discipline, other than he didn't maintain his leverage and coverage, gave up the conversion, And I literally, I don't think he even realized where he was. As the he's trying to wrestle the guy down, he's got his back, you know, he's tackling the guy backwards, so he doesn't realize the guy put a foot out. He's just trying to get the guy to the ground. So I don't think that was a lack of discipline on his part, but it's always, you know, I don't think you're ever gonna have a week where you don't desire more discipline. I don't wanna downplay it, I'm the one that brought it up. But, you know, and it really was, in particular, you know, the discipline in the first half, and particularly defensively, do things right. And the discipline again, you know, offensively to do the things that we're coached to do, you know, systematically, and don't try to make a play, you know. You know, one of the reasons we've been really efficient through the first part of the season going into last week was because we did have discipline to do the little things right from a scheme standpoint, and not try to make plays, make the layups, don't force things, and you know, you play the quote unquote long ball when it comes to winning games, and so don't try to win it the first drive of the game. You know, again, take what's there, come get coached up, and those types of things. So I think that's a coach's job, to always have great awareness there, always correcting, always coaching, always teaching. I don't think that it's ever going to be perfect, but we certainly, again, some of the things that, you know, particularly, you know, I go back to defense, you know, guys trying to make plays. And so sometimes you take away the autonomy to do some of those things with your schemes too. Some schemes you give a little bit more latitude, which allows them to be really aggressive, and then sometimes when they're not doing the things that you need to do there the right way at the right time, you take away that latitude to do that. And so we did some of that last week to improve the discipline. So that's kind of probably vague a little bit. My guys aren't listening to me right now, but if they heard me talk right now, they'd know exactly what I'm talking about. Thanks.
Right side, third row, Cliff.
Yeah, Coach, you know, when you have the nation's leading rusher, that means somebody's blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Gundy early on was disappointed in how his line was blocking, but they clearly got better, and he's been very complimentary of them recently.
Yeah.
What do they present as an offensive line, as a blocking scheme?
Yeah, good cohesion, good chemistry, very confident, you know, good fundamentals. They're playing aggressive, but they're playing as a unit. You know, they're not. And I think the runs that they've been majoring in have helped them. The tight ends are a part of that as well. They're tough, physical. They like to play. They like to get after you, and that's a unit that's having a lot of fun, is what I see.
Okay, back left, John Hoover.
Brent, so much emotion went into the Texas game, came out of the Texas game, we saw the videos and all that stuff, the big celebrations, but then you guys had an open date, and then you had the UCF game out here, obviously, and then Kansas. I know you like to say that one win or one loss doesn't define you, but what do you think has happened since that pinnacle point, that high point, to kind of whatever the decline is?
I take every week.
Besides the injuries.
Yeah, I take every week as its own. I don't.
You don't think they're connected at all?
I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't look at it like that. I just look at what we need to do better, what we did well, what we need to do well this week. You know, that's how I look at it. And when we win, we celebrate. You know, maybe they don't get as many clicks or likes or whatever as it does when you play Texas, but you know, we put a lot of work into the course of a week, and certainly in going into the season. And so when you have some success, you want to celebrate it, and then you want to move on. You know, and that's what a good, mature team can do. And I really believe, again, you're a couple of conversions away, one player away from stopping a sprint draw, and you get a 3 or 4 score win against UCF. It didn't happen, but that's my perspective. It's not, oh, well, we took them for granted. Well, what happened the first 4 drives on defense with one of the best offenses in college football. Was there not a Texas hangover those first 4 drives? I'm just asking. Like, and that's how I look at it. And then, all right, what happened? Well, it was one guy. All right, then they go down and they get them on the goal line, and we knocked their ass back for 3 straight plays. Weren't we still celebrating Texas win those first 3 plays? And then we stopped on the last one, but what happened? We had a personal foul, a guy celebrating a little excessively. So I don't know. I don't make it like that. I don't look at it that way. At least not with this team. That's not what I see. And I see each game it presents its own issues and problems, and you try to correct them and to learn from it and move on to the next one. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I might be. And but that's how I've always approached. Like people say, well, you can't beat a same team, twice in a season. That's baloney. That's not. What is that? Now, maybe outside the locker room, that's the belief, but that's not how people inside of the locker room thinks. Like, we don't think like that. And so I'm just not going to go with. If I believe it's true, I'll say it. But you ask me, I don't agree with that. Again, just because of the examples I gave you. But when you lack attention to detail at times, when you lack the discipline that it takes at times, this game will punish you if the other team has a pulse. And again, I got great respect for Kansas and what they've done. I think their body of work has been really good, and we jacked around and didn't do the things that you got to do to win a game, and still had opportunities to win the game all the way to the last play. And we didn't. You learned a tough lesson, but I don't look at it having anything to do with Texas. I know that's a popular thing, I'm sure, because of all the attention that that game had. But we've moved on from that game.
Third row on the aisle, Tim Miller.
Coach, talk a little bit about the importance of getting off to a fast start Saturday and taking that crowd out of the game.
They got a great crowd. They got a great environment. Been over there several times, and that'd be great, to both sides of the ball to start off really well. Doesn't mean you can't win if you don't get off to a great start. Just make it a little harder. And but execution wins, precision and timing, physicality. Those are the things that win. Maybe offensively, you gotta do things differently when you go on a road at a place like that. You have, from an operation standpoint. Defensively, it gets a little quieter when the defense is out there from a communication standpoint. But our guys got to show some maturity, stay locked in. They're going to be on top of you, and that's that environment. And again, that is a challenge. And so hopefully we'll start off really well, but it's still a 60-minute ball game. And so regardless of what happens, you got to play, for 4 quarters.
With the way back in the cap.
Yeah, Brent, all your captains this week are kids from Oklahoma. What played into that decision? How was that made? What does it mean for them this week?
What played into it is guys that are respected, that are from the state of Oklahoma. And having grown up in the state of Oklahoma, they have a different type of value maybe for Bedlam. And so it's a big deal. They represent their state. And that's nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, back to Barry.
Yeah, Jeff, you may know it, you may not. He's had a rough 2 or 3 days with the fan base. You have to counsel him and say, hey, if you didn't know, this is what it's like, and you just have to live with it.
I had that conversation with our team and our staff several times since I've been here, prior to playing our first game, however long ago that was. That's Oklahoma. That's a place like Oklahoma. So that comes with it. Just stay inside out. You're the one in the arena, you being all of us. And again, you have an appreciation for the support, but there's craziness to all of it. And I love the passion and the energy. And when things don't go well, hey man, they have a right to be pissed, you know. But you have a right whether or not you listen to it and let it affect you or not too. And so I told the players and the coaches the same stuff. Man, just don't live in that world. It ain't ever going to be good. And if you just taking a peek, certainly after you can win and take a peek and it ain't good. And so just I don't know, man. I just don't get your value through that, through the applause, through have a respect for it, appreciation for it, have an understanding for it, but again, don't value the opinion of people that you never seek advice from. I believe in that, and understand that also, that goes with your, when you're at a place like Oklahoma on this stage, there's scrutiny that comes with it, with that title, with that job, and even the players. I hate it. The players, their body of work is always under a microscope, but that's the way it is in all sports, every level. I don't have to counsel him. He's a grown man, but we're all close, and I'm constantly trying to nurture mindset too, because I'm fully aware of everything, both the good and the bad, and when you're doing really well, successful, I try to keep everybody focused on the right things. That's my job, as a leader, too. Let's focus on the controllables always, and focus on our players and our locker room, and again, what we got to do to get better.
Any more second row, Mason Young?
Brent, what's perhaps maybe your favorite Bedlam memory? Just one that you coached in here at Oklahoma that really means something to you?
Probably, I don't know, we had a great goal line stand. Was that Les Miles' year down here? Curtis Lofton.
Yeah, it was.
That was a really good goal line stand. They were really good that year. That was a good day. I think 2003, after they beat us and won in 2002, we had really good teams. They beat us straight up. And we were all mad after the first year, like it was a fluke. But they really beat us just straight up, just whooped us. And did the same thing in 2002, and then 2003 played pretty good. That might have been. Anyway, didn't do me any good to reminisce. We focus on this week's game.
Right here, Jesse.
Hey, Brent, just wanted to ask about Javante Barnes, who missed a few weeks and then got in the game on Saturday. Maybe just how had he progressed? Where was he at going into the game? And where do you see from where he's at now?
Yeah, well, obviously we had some depth issues, and we got him ready to play, prepared to play. He did some really good things while he was in there. Did a good job at pass pro. Had a couple of nice runs in the game. And again, as week to week, we're trying to continue to develop that group. And some of it has been hamstrung through injuries, but he feels good right now.
Last two will be James and then George. James.
Brent, it was a weird game throwing the ball. You only threw the ball 19 times. Normally you throw it a lot. I would assume you don't go to a game worrying about Dylan and guys throwing the ball, but I'm sure you'd like them to get back on track and be their normal selves this game, right? So.
Again, I think having balance to what you do is important. And, you attack people. Explosives are a real thing. Obviously, having some success throwing the ball can open up opportunities to run the ball as well. And so we got to do a good job every week to have the kind of balance that you want. And always having an aggressive mindset. You have to be able to throw the ball, to win at the highest level. No doubt about it.
Okay, we'll go to George, and I forgot to call him Curtis. So George.
Brent, I know you guys always say every game is the same, but I'm guessing for Trace Ford, this game might mean a little extra to him going back there. I'm wondering, what do you remember about when he came available in the portal? Did you guys have this conversation of the criticism that he might face, transferring in-state schools like this, and what's he been like maybe this week leading up to such a big game for him?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Trace this week about any of that, but and again, I think these guys that get in the transfer portal, they're going to be celebrated and critiqued, whether it's in-state, rival, or not. And these are tough, difficult, life-changing kind of decisions. So I'm sure a lot went into it. I don't know all the intimate details of, but you're going to be scrutinized no matter what. This reference back to, coaches and the fan base. I would say the same thing. There you got to do what's best for you, and hopefully people that love you always support you. Don't necessarily have to always agree with your decisions, but always got your back.
Okay, last one to Curtis over here.
Brent, you lose Andrew out in the Texas game. Since that game, how would you evaluate the receiving group and the production there, and what do you see out of them going into this?
Yeah, well, I think Nick, obviously Nick picked up, the bulk of that work, and he's done a nice job, obviously. Didn't have many targets this last week, but he's done a really good job. And overall as a group, again, we've run the ball, concerted effort to run the ball the last couple of weeks. And but it's a good group. It's a reliable group. When we given them the opportunity to beat guys, to make plays, as a group, the group has played well on the season, and we're going to need for us to have a chance to win these last several games. We're going to have a good balance in what we're doing, and they're going to have to make plays, competitive plays.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Brent.
Yep.